Hi, my name is Dennis Shafer, and I'm here to give you a free first saxophone lesson. So the instinct when you get a shiny new saxophone is to grab that big shiny main part of the saxophone and say, okay, let's do this. All of my students do that, but you don't want to touch that yet. You don't even want to touch the neck yet. The first thing you're going to start with is this, which is reed, ligature, and mouthpiece. Now, first you slide the ligature over the mouthpiece. Now, some ligatures have the screw or screws in the back. Some ligatures have the screws in the front. Either way, the screw must be going to the right. So if yours is a screw in the back, then it's on the right. If it's a screw in the front, still going to the right. You see? So you have to figure out which one that is. So this one screws in the back, and then we slide the reed between the ligature and the mouthpiece in the front. And voila! And you want to put that reed so it's even on the sides and even on the bottom. Both sides it's even hump there, and even amount of siding on the rails there. And then you could see a little bit of the mouthpiece behind the reed. And then you flip it around and you can see a little bit of the reed behind the mouthpiece. It's a magic trick, all right? So then you think you're ready to play, but you're not. You have to set that down. And then you take a piece of paper and you're gonna try and pin this paper up against the wall with your breath like this. And you wanna get really close, right? So you have to go over to a wall and you pin that paper up against the wall with your breath. Try not to puff your cheeks. See how many seconds you pin that paper up against the wall. And that's the first part of your homework assignment, is you see how long you can pin the paper up against the wall with your breath before you even touch the rest of the saxophone. Then you have the air that takes to play the saxophone, which is a very fast, cold airstream. So if you blew again that same airstream on your hand without puffing your cheeks, it'd be a very cold airstream that's going down really fast. So it's like this part of my hand that's feeling really cold air. And you take and you chew on your lower lip like this, right? And you can see this red line. If I had X-ray vision, that would be where my teeth start, is that red line. So you need to be able to see some of that red, right? And then you have your incisors also on your teeth. So that lower lip is stretched over your lower teeth like that, right? It's almost like really smiling. When I was playing with my lower lip over my teeth. And I take my lower lip over my teeth, and I'm gonna put the mouthpiece in my mouth like this. All right? All right? And how far does the mouthpiece go in? Well, I like to take a piece of tape, right? And you can mark 1 centimeter up. You go up 1 centimeter on the reed, on the mouthpiece, on the top of the mouthpiece, and you put a piece of tape like that, right? And then you put the mouthpiece in your mouth and you slide your teeth until you hit that 1 centimeter up. And then you know you're taking in enough mouthpiece, right? If it's not enough, you take in a little more, but it has to be at least that much, right? So you take it 1 centimeter in, you're chewing on the line, chewing your little teeth, push that mouthpiece all the way in, equal amount on top and bottom, and you blow just like you're pinning that paper against the wall. It should be a really loud sound like this. And that should be an A or an A flat on the piano, one or the other. So if you have a piano in the house, you walk over to the piano, you squawk, and you see how long you can squawk for, okay? You write down how many seconds you can squawk for today on just the mouthpiece. And then you start to add pieces of the saxophone. So you see this shiny new neck needs cork grease. I always rub lots of cork grease on every time before you play, especially on a newer saxophone, right? Do you see how much? Put a ton of cork grease on there. Rub that in real good, all right? Get that all over your fingers. Oh, I got cork grease all over my fingers. Well, you rub that on your sock. And don't tell your mom, all right? That's what I always tell my kids. Love it. All right, so now we're ready to put that, slide that right on. It goes right on easily. And I always slide it on pretty far, even though we haven't learned how to tune yet. You slide it in pretty far, right? Now we see how long we can make a sound with the neck and the mouthpiece. And it should be that sound, not too high, not too low. Make sure you're pushing this, because that can change things. So you make sure you're not pushing down, moving that at all. All right, so now we've made a nice long blowing the paper up against the wall. A nice long sound with just the mouthpiece, and a nice long sound with the mouthpiece and the reed. Now we're finally ready to grab the big shiny thing? No, first we need to put on this neck strap. So first you put on this neck strap, and I like to think of it as a necktie. It's a necktie for saxophonists. So you slide that on, right? And then you tighten that sucker up real high, right? And then you grab this big shiny thing. All right, this big shiny thing, and we take this neck and if it has this in it, you take that out. You make sure that this screw on this side, not this side, the screw on this side is nice and loose. And then you're gonna slide this neck on. Now, if it doesn't go on, you're gonna need to come around with your hand like this, right? Make sure you're not pushing down on this key because it's very fragile. And then you're gonna twist it down. Don't just try and push it down from the top, because then you can hurt the neck and also pop a hole in this fragile little octave pad here. So you need to make sure you're not putting pressure on that, and you're twisty on, twisty off, twisty on, and then you tighten this finger snug. Also on the ligature, when you're tightening the ligature, those screws should be finger snug. Not too tight, not too loose. All right, keeping the reed on there, but not really screwing it on there too tight. All right, now we have a saxophone put together. You see this, all saxophones have this right here. This line needs to line up with this little thing. Goes in between there, and that all lines up there. All right, so we have the saxophone. We clip on the neck strap to this hole here. All right, and now we're ready to stand up and play. Stand up and play, and you want to bring the saxophone to you. So you have the saxophone here, and you go to shake someone's hand, right? This is the motion, right? And I always have my students shake my hand and then push. And that's what you're engaging, these back muscles here. And you're gonna shake their hand and then push it forward. And then you bring the saxophone to your mouth by pushing forward like this. Right, like that. Now, you just need to make an open sound. And then you can experiment with pushing buttons. But that is really it for the first saxophone lesson, is just being able to get a sound, a nice, big, long sound, and you see how long you can play a note on the whole saxophone. And by the time you got the whole saxophone in your mouth, I know you're gonna play. You're gonna dork around, you're gonna try and push buttons and stuff and make different sounds. That's great. Play it just like you would play the recorder. Push different buttons down, have fun, make some sounds. Say, hey mom, I can play this whole song on the sax, check it out, maybe you'll play Hot Cross Buns, but don't worry about getting music out. You're just having fun, just playing the whole instrument, right? By the time you get that together. But most of the practice is going to be pinning the paper up against the wall. See how long you can do that. Play just the mouthpiece. See how long you can do that. Play the mouthpiece and the reed. See how long you can do that. All the time having this nice thin lower lip stretched over your lower teeth and taking in plenty of mouthpiece up to a centimeter or more into your mouth, all right? Slide that in, all right? And fast air. So that is your first saxophone lesson. I hope you enjoyed. And if you're trying to play the clarinet, it's very similar. You take the mouthpiece in the same way. So this can be applied to clarinet or saxophone, both single reed instruments. Play very similarly from the start and then get different once you're holding the instrument. So I hope you enjoyed. My name is Dennis Shafer. I'm on Artist Row in Salem and offering free instrumental music lessons, first come, first served, and for now, completely online.